Hi, I'm Andrea and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do something that is very reminiscent of my old videos. I'm talking like 10 years ago. The types of videos that I used to make all the time back in the day. Have a topic that I have some feelings and some thoughts about, write a few of those thoughts very vaguely down in my notes app on my phone, and just chat about them with you. This is very much an open discussion, so I would love to hear your thoughts as well in the comments below, and we can just chat about this topic. Today I am inspired by a video that I randomly watched with Karen Gillan. She did an interview on a YouTube channel. I will link it in the description box below because I cannot remember the name of the YouTube channel, but she was talking about all different types of topics. And one in particular that she touched upon was something that really resonated with me. For those of you who don't know, she is Amy Pond in Doctor Who, but also she's in Guardians of the Galaxy. So if you don't know her from Doctor Who, you almost certainly know her from Marvel. She's accomplished a lot. She has definitely had a lot of what anybody I think would call success in her field. But she was talking about her childhood and dreaming, basically dreaming big, dreaming bigger than anyone in her small town had. And she referred to it as borderline delusional, I believe was the word choice that she used at one point, about how she viewed life at that time when she was like 18, 20 years old and dreaming of being an actor. And she was saying that now that she's accomplished so much in her career, she would think that her confidence would reflect that, but actually she is, less confident in herself now than she was before. I'm very much paraphrasing, so please do go watch the interview if you want to have her exact wording and her exact opinions, which I'm just trying to paraphrase based on my memory. But I thought it was super interesting because I am not someone who has had a lot of success yet in what I want to have success in, specifically writing. I used to also have delusions when it came to YouTube and what I wanted to do with YouTube. I'm still very much passionate about making videos, but I would say that my goals have changed a little bit in that respect. But I would say my writing goals are pretty similar, and I haven't achieved them yet. That's just a fact. I have not achieved a lot of the things that I wanted to achieve by now and that I still want to achieve in the future. But I definitely can relate when it comes to confidence as I get older and confidence as I get more competent, because I would certainly say, even though I haven't accomplished a lot of the things that I want to accomplish, I've definitely become better at these things. I'm a better editor. I think I generally am a better video maker, even though I don't make videos nearly as much, which is something I am slowly remedying. My writing, I've definitely gotten better at writing. When I go back and look at stuff that I wrote when I was 18 or 20, I've gotten so much better. I understand stories so much better. So even though I haven't had successes per se yet in those fields, I would definitely say that I've become more competent. But I relate so much to what Karen was saying about feeling less confident and becoming, more anxious. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but this is what I at least drew from what she was saying, talking about social anxiety, talking about the confidence that she had when she was younger because she had these delusions. And I think hopefully a lot of you guys can relate to what I'm saying as well, or at least understand what I'm saying, but I was a delusional child. I believed so much in what I was gonna do, and I was that kid, which, we all know somebody if we're not that kid ourselves, but I was that kid who had the dream of doing this by a certain age. So when I was 12 or 13, I wanted to be published by the time I was 16, because Christopher Paolini had published Aragon when he was 16, so therefore it's accomplishable, and I was gonna do it. And then of course 16 came and went, and then it became 18, and when I was 18 I thought, well, by the time I'm 20 or 21, I will have more success. And then of course I moved abroad when I was 20, and my priorities shifted and I experienced more of the world, and then I thought, well, by the time I'm 25, I'm definitely gonna get there. 25 came and went, and it became 30. Like, I will be published by the time I'm 30, or at least have a literary agent, or I will have this number of subscribers by the time I, turn 30, or whatever the goal might have been. I didn't write them down. I just believed wholeheartedly in them. My ambition was really reliant on this sense of dreaming. Ambition for me and dreaming were the same thing. The goals that I had, I worked towards. I didn't just sit and do nothing and expect it to come to me. I was very much working towards them. But by working towards them and by having that ambition to write, to post videos, I absolutely believed that those dreams were coming. And that kept me going. Like, I think the reason I did so much and the reason I could be so productive, productivity was just a different thing when I was 20 or when I was 25. Even when I was 16 or 17, at least I felt like I was being more productive, doing more things. I felt like I was living more, even though I was living much, much less with hindsight, and I had seen so much less of the world. When it comes to writing, it's even easier to, I think, make this comparison than it is with my videos or other types of creativity, because I absolutely wanted to get published, and still to this day, that dream has not changed. I absolutely want to get published. And I've definitely become a better writer. I have learned so much about story. I have learned so much about the publishing industry. I have learned so much about the writer experience and what I am doing. And I feel like I have so much more ground to stand on. And as that ground has solidified beneath me, you would think I would feel more confident and more secure. And yet I feel so much less. It's hard to decide if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because I think it comes with a hearty dose of both. It's a good thing in the sense that as we learn more, we realize we have more to learn, and therefore we, in theory, strive for more. And as we get better, we, discover new outlets of getting even better. Like as you learn more, you learn what you have left to learn, and then you can seek out new things and you can continue to grow instead of hitting a cap at one point. Or, when I was younger, I definitely knew that I had things to learn, and I was definitely trying to, improve myself every day. But I think believing that I was so much more competent or so much more capable, and that the things that I was hoping and dreaming were certainly going to happen, that did kind of limit me in some ways. There were definitely areas where I probably could have improved more if I hadn't had so much belief that I was already so competent in a certain area. At the same time, when we are building and growing and we spend so much time just looking forwards towards the next thing that we need to get better at, or the next goal that we need to achieve, or the next, area that we're lacking in, we can sometimes stop appreciating what we actually are good at and lose a little bit of that spark. If we spend so much time focusing on the reality, which can sometimes be very depressing depending on what kind of reality you're looking at. But for example, let's take the publishing industry for me. If I think about the reality of how many people are rejected, how many books are rejected, how many years people spend trying to break into this industry, that is very grim. And it can risk negating all of the positivity that we associate with that activity, and without any hope whatsoever, it's really hard to do the thing that we love. When I was younger, when I fully believed that I was going to get published by the time I was 20 or 25 or 30, I was working hard, but I was definitely capped by a lack of realism. I could have sometimes probably used a little bit of a dose of reality. But at the same time, when I think about the level of productivity that I had, and I really try hard not to talk about productivity in the sense that it can sometimes be talked about on the internet, on Instagram, on YouTube, and it's kind of given this rose-colored filter. But the amount of things that I could achieve when I was younger and delusional was so much higher in a lot of ways. I also appreciated my downtime a lot more than I do now. Now, I feel like I neither get as much done as I should. I use this with quotation marks because I don't know if I really should be quantifying it like that, but I don't feel like I get as much done. I don't have as much energy to do as much. And also when I have the downtime, when I give myself the downtime, or when I take it accidentally or unintentionally, let's say, I don't feel as good about it. I don't necessarily enjoy it as much. I feel a lot more feelings of guilt. Part of the reason that I used to get more done, or feel like I'd gotten more done, even if maybe I wasn't getting as much done, was because I was fueled by this little spark of delusion or just hope, dreams. My creativity ran on it. And I think as creatives, you have to believe just a little bit, even just a tiny bit, in the impossible. Because regardless of what your dreams are, even if they're just to write and not to get published, or to draw and post it on Instagram, you have to just have a little bit of faith in what you're doing, because there will be people who will not have that belief, or there will always be at least that voice in the back of your head that's telling you it's not as good as this other thing, or you're bad at what you do, or you're not accomplishing what you have the potential to accomplish. There's this constant critic in our heads, I think, at all times. And in some ways, the only way to really get past it is to have a little bit of delusion. Just enough delusion to silence the voice long enough to do what you need to do, to express yourself, to pursue your passion, to pursue your art. It's an impossible thing in some ways. And it is such a shame, at least from my perspective, but also what Karen Gillan was talking about, confidence dropping even as she was getting more successful. And I feel it, confidence dropping even as my competence increases. There is a correlation between competence and confidence, but it's not in the sense that they both go up together. It's that as my competence goes up, my confidence goes down. And it is such a shame because it shouldn't be that way. It should be that the more we learn and the more that we become competent on what we do and the better artists and creatives that we become, we should believe more in ourselves. We would do so much more with that. And it's such a shame that I feel like as I've gotten better at the things that I can do, I've had less confidence and less motivation because of that lack of confidence, because of the insecurities that I guess learning more has brought up for me. And maybe also getting older. Maybe getting older is a more instrumental part of this than I would have thought otherwise. Maybe it's not just that I'm getting better, but also that I'm getting older and that realism is taking over. And that is such a shame. Right now, as I'm making this video, I am in a state in my life when I am writing better, in theory, than I've ever written before. My video editing skills are better and smoother than they ever have been. I don't know if I'm proving it in this video, it might be a mess, but I certainly feel more confident and know more what I'm doing, whether or not that's reflected. And yet, I am so much less confident in what I can do, and I am so much scareder to post this video than I used to be. I did used to get anxious. I have always had some social anxiety and, anxiety about my art and anxiety about the things that I post online and the things that I create. But I had way more confidence, and the proof is in the pudding because I posted more and I did more. I took more chances. I filmed myself singing, playing guitar, which I'm not very good at, and playing violin twice. I have 2 music videos on my channel. Even just imagining doing something like that now seems impossible. And it's a weird thing. I don't have a conclusion to this. The thesis statement of this video is that it's weird and that I think I'm trying to find that spark again. And maybe the way to find that spark again is to get a little bit delusional, to allow myself to find that part of me that fueled me, that motivated me, that made me believe that what I was doing was worth every single second because I was gonna achieve my goals. I want it with a healthy dose of realism. I don't want to just throw all reality out the door because that also sets myself up for failure. Like I had, when I thought by 18 I'll be published and then I wasn't. That was a huge letdown on my 18th birthday, thinking about the fact that I have not accomplished what I thought for sure I was going to accomplish by the time I was 18. So a little bit of realism, can take the edge off of that. But I do think that accessing that little part of me that used to hope thoughtlessly and completely unrealistically might be a little bit of the key to finding my creativity, exploring it to its fullest, and accomplishing more. And that is the point of this video. That is what I'm seeking to do by making a video that feels very much like an old style video for me. It's unlocked so many things in my brain. I'm feeling so good right now. I don't know if you are, having watched this video. Let me know in the comments below. But it's refreshing to do the things that used to motivate you in new ways with new perspectives. I'm definitely not trying to relive my past or become a past self because I think that also negates a lot of the growth that I've done. But I think trying to relight that spark, the same spark. Everything else can be grown and evolved and changed over time. But the spark, at least for me, I want to keep that the same. And maybe that's something that all of us need just a little bit, whether it's with our art or just our goals in life, what we want to achieve. Maybe finding something at the core of ourselves is the way of continuing that drive and that ambition. Realism is a necessary evil in a lot of ways, but I think at our core, it's okay to keep that little spark of delusion and, believing in ourselves, maybe even if that's slightly outside the bounds of what's possible or what's likely. That's okay. If it helps us continue to pursue our goals and continue to stay motivated and get up every day, excited to start the day and excited to do the things that we love to do, and it keeps those goals alive, I think we should cherish it. And maybe that is my thesis statement of this video. Like I said, I would love to know your thoughts on this topic below. Let me know if you agree with what I've said. If you don't agree with what I've said, I really hope that what I've said has made some sense at the very least, even if you disagree with some things. I'm definitely not advocating for a lack of realism completely, but a balance, I think, is something that I'm going for. Learning to have those two things coexist and understanding them as separate entities that need to both be present for me at least. But let me know if you disagree, if you lean towards one or the other. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know that in the comments below as well. I have had a wonderful time just doing this style of video. I would love to do it again. If there's specific topics you want to hear, let me know. I have a few other sort of vague ideas in my notes app. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not already subscribed, be sure you do that. You can also turn on notifications, give the video a like, do all of the YouTube-y things, and I would very much appreciate it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon in another video.